Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Lady Bella Naturally here. Today I have my daughter, Denise.
Hi.
She is the second born, the middle child, number 2 out of 3. She is my 19-year-old, so she is the teenager. I have a 17-year-old, 19-year-old, and 21-year-old. Today we will be talking about money, in particular wanting to have a conversation with my kids about money and basically how they feel about money, what they've learned from the examples that myself and their dad has taught them. So let's just get started and we'll start talking about it. So I have a few questions here.
Okay.
And my first question is, based on the examples that your father and myself have set, how have we portrayed money to you?
Well, I know it is something that can be considered limited depending on how am I doing this? Here's the question again.
How, based on the examples your father and myself have set, how have we portrayed money to you? How have we portrayed it to you? What do you think?
I say it's a good portrayal. I mean, you were just like, well, money is the thing that we have to consider at all times. So you always kind of had a budgeting mentality when it came to a lot of things, like when I would go grocery shopping with you and stuff. So I always kind of saw that sometimes we just couldn't afford certain things. So you have to like make certain decisions and make little sacrifices and just go with the greater good when it comes to spending money. Like, you just gotta choose the most important thing and be like, this is what I need to be financially available for.
Okay. So you feel like you got it from me and Daddy?
Yes.
All right. So in terms of the examples with money, like I want you to give some little life examples. Well, you kind of did. You kind of did when you were talking about with the grocery and how you watched us, at least how you watch me make decisions based on how much money I have. So I guess that's an example that you can say that you saw of how we dealt with money.
Yes.
What have you seen with Daddy? Like when he's, spending money, what kind of example have you seen? Or can you give me like a little example of what you've seen of how he deals with money? Or do we both do it the same way, you think? Do you think he's doing the same thing I'm doing with the decision making?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So we both pretty much handle money the same way, you think?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't say either of you were quick spenders.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even though like Daddy like bought us a bunch of things, like he was still like, it wasn't like all the time, you know? Like it was when we could afford it.
Okay. Alright. That sounds pretty fair. So I think it's safe to say that based on what you see from both your father and myself, that the way we handle money, we're pretty much on the same page, I guess. That from what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think when it comes to saving and spending, do you think we're the same when it comes to that kind of stuff?
I think probably budget differently, but
Okay.
I haven't watched you guys that closely either.
You haven't paid attention.
Yes.
When it comes to saving. Well, I guess that's something that we've actually talked about, so I guess you would know because we never really talk about savings. Okay. Do you think you are responsible with money?
Define responsible. Okay.
Okay, what do you define as responsible?
Responsible?
When it comes to with money.
I'm learning.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm like the most responsible because I could definitely have more in savings right now.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm slowly picking up better budgeting habits, and I'm just mentally prepared to like sacrifice my temporary wants to be able to save money. And I've just been getting in a more like, all right, how can I avoid spending money in this situation mentality? So when me and her wanted to get coffee, I was like, well, I have this coffee, we can just make it here. But she had money, so we went to the gas station. But that was one of the reasons I brought the coffee, because even though there's a gas station that we can literally walk to and, we're not wasting any gas, not wasting that much time, it's still money that I can just save because we've already got coffee in the house.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So when you were talking about, like, we ain't got no McDonald's money,
Yeah.
It's just like we didn't have money for McDonald's because we don't need it. We have food in the house.
Right.
So I understand why you would say that now. I understand that.
So you didn't understand it before, you think?
Not really, because I knew that, like, when I was younger, I knew that you had money and that we were at the store to buy things. So when I would want toys, you'd be like, we don't have money for that right now, which didn't really make any sense because I was like, you have money for buying things, why can't you buy this one thing?
Right.
But because it's just not what you budgeted for.
Okay.
Because it's also not a priority, and it would be one little thing that has more of a negative impact than a positive impact, because it's like that's $15 less that could have went to some more food that could have saved us from eating out in a month, you know?
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's interesting. So the way you think about it now, in terms of like when you were saying like the McDonald's money and prioritizing stuff with money, when did that develop, or when did that start?
I'd say probably about last year.
Oh, just a year ago?
Yes, because I didn't even have a job, so I wasn't really worried about saving. And once I started getting money, I was just like, well, I can blow it because I don't have any bills to pay yet. So, you know, I didn't really have to stop to think about those things because I was like, well, I have consistent income, so I can just make sure I am able to afford what it is I need to afford. But I didn't have any things to budget for back then, you know? But between then and now, with having a cat and moving and all of that, I've gotten more in a kind of like, all right, I have to budget, I have to organize my money, I have to put certain money aside for certain things, and I can't just be spending all willy-nilly.
Right. Well, okay, so you don't have a job right now, not working.
No.
You had your first job was at a the pizza parlor at Mo's Pizza, and then you were literally there for like a month or something?
Yeah, about a month and a half.
Right, and then the whole pandemic. It was like dead smack in the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes.
So yeah. So when you started working then, was that like anything to impact you with money, having money, or it was so short that you was like nothing, or what was it like?
Yeah, it was just kind of like a moment. I didn't really learn anything from the experience. I was like, okay, I have a job, but it wasn't when I was in the mentality of, okay, I need a job to give myself what I need and like take care of myself. It was just more like, all right, my friends have jobs, maybe I should get a job.
Oh, okay.
And then Max was like, hey, you can come work with me. So I was like, okay.
And then you're like, let me work with my friend because she's working over there. So
I did not care about that job, to be honest.
Oh.
But after that, I was like, you know, next time I'm gonna actually make sure I take care of my job and do it properly so I can keep it and make money. Which I did for about 3 months.
All right, so then your next job after that you got was at the diner.
Yes.
You started, when did you start?
June.
Oh, it was June 2021.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes.
And then you ended up leaving what time? When?
I'd say about October-ish.
So June, July, August, September, October. So you were there for about 4 months?
Yes.
Okay. And then, she was working as a waitress at that time. And what I was pretty impressed with, the fact that, with waitressing, usually you don't really get a high base salary because your money is really dependent on the tips you get. And what we started doing, or what Denise started doing, was that her Sunday tips she would give to me to save, to put in her savings account. So I was really excited about that. Was that my idea or your idea?
That was my idea.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that was even better because I know I would kind of preach savings, but I personally don't know if I really did set a good example in terms of how to save. So,
I learned how to save senior year because of financial algebra.
Oh, really?
Yes, that was what kind of helped put more things into perspective, and like they really broke down like budgeting and things. So I got a better understanding, and I was like, okay, this isn't that hard. Just know what you need to save for beforehand, and make sure you have certain things in place to get that money and put it aside, and just have enough self-control to not waste it on stuff you don't need.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I think it seems like you have a pretty at least your foundation when it comes to money and how to deal with it seems pretty good so far. You're learning. You've made mistakes. You learn from them, and you're just literally learning and growing. Yeah. All right. And that's a good thing. So how do you feel about money personally? Like, how do you feel about it? Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel sad? Are you scared about it? Are you like, oh my God, it's not enough? How do you feel about it?
It's not the biggest priority in my life, but I recognize that it is a means of survival. At some point, you know, like you're gonna need it to go off on your own and do things. You need money to make money. You need to have it already. So I recognize its importance. I mean, I don't really like feel any way about it. It's not like money is bad because it's the people that make it bad. It's certain people that make it bad, but it's not money itself. Money is just a tool that can help build or help destroy. Yeah, that's how I feel about it, I guess.
Okay. So I created a post, I think I showed you on Instagram that I created a post about when we were talking about, because in the post, Denise has a PayPal card, but she lost her PayPal card. And she didn't lock the card because you have a feature to lock the card. She did not lock the card where no one can use it in case it was found. So she noticed that there was a transaction on her PayPal card from Amazon, and she told me about it. So I'm freaking out, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, someone is using your card. Now the transaction was for like $14 and change. And I said to her, I was like, oh my gosh, you need to report it, and you need to get that money back and let them know that you had lost the card. And do you remember what your response was?
Yeah. I said that it was okay because it was just money and I was gonna make it back. It was only $14. I wasn't really upset about it.
And what was I like?
You were freaking out. You were like, you gotta lock the card, it's your money, somebody's using it. And I was like, okay, well then I'll lock the card. Problem solved. They can't use my money anymore. They took $15, that's all they're getting. Right. So yeah, and I knew that I made $15 before and I can make it again.
Yeah. And what was interesting is that even when she said that, she was like, it's no big deal, I'm gonna make the money. In fact, you said, Mommy, it's okay, I'll make 10 times that. You remember saying that? You're like, or I'll make, yeah, no, you said I'm gonna make 10 times that.
Probably.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, okay, you're right. And I think at that moment I kind of realized, I still kind of, I mean, like I knew you were right, that you are right, but I still kind of felt away. So it was like, I don't know if it's just culture, life, the way I grew up is like you don't lose money like that. You don't just let money go and not try and get it back. And I think it's a mentality I've had. So even when you said that and I knew you were right, I still kind of felt away. Like I still was like, oh, okay, she's right, but I wish you would get that $14 back. Like I was really thinking it.
Aww.
But
I did, don't worry.
You
Multiple times, again and again and again.
You did what?
Got my money back.
Oh. So even though I knew you were right, I still was kind of feeling away. Like, Dad, I really wish you'd go get the money back. Like,
this was before I could,
I would have called Amazon myself and be like, listen, a fraudulent transaction had happened.
It happened again.
You didn't lock the card?
I did, but I think it was my Cash App, which doesn't make any sense because I got a new Cash App and a new card, so I'm not sure what went through. Wait, does Amazon Prime do like monthly payments?
Yeah. If you
of what?
Prime.
Okay, then that's what it is. $6?
Yeah, if you're a student, if you have a student account.
No.
And Amazon Prime does $100. Anyway, we're getting off the subject, but
no, because I'm saying like the $13 came out for Amazon, and I'm like, how does that? It doesn't make any sense because I didn't use my card on anybody else's device.
And I said to her that she needs to look into it, and did she look into it?
No. I ain't worried.
Yeah, you're not worried, but stuff like that you kind of need to be careful with, and you need to let me help you solve the problem when it comes to that kind of stuff, because you don't want anything else to happen again because of your ignorance. Yeah. So we need to take care of that when we can. Okay, so we can figure out what that was about. But as we were saying, but knowing that she's right about money, the fact that she'll make it again, it just reminded me, and over time I'm learning when it comes to money that it is not a limited resource. Many of us grew up thinking that it's limited and there's only a small amount or a limited amount. And what I'm learning which is I just began learning literally in the last 3 years of my life, is that money is not a limited resource. The way we think about money is we hold on to money because we think, oh my God, we lose it and then it's the end all. And what I'm learning is that money is made to be spent and made. It's like currency. It's made to flow. It's not made for you to just grab all the money and keep in your bank account and not do anything with it. Of course, you're going to be responsible with money and have money put aside for, emergencies. But outside of that, money is made to be spent, but spent wisely. It is made to make a difference in the world. I mean, the Bible itself says that money answers all things. Money solves problems. That's a fact, okay? It doesn't solve every problem, but it solves a lot of problems. So money is out there. It is out there to be made. It is out there to be spent, and it's out there to be used wisely and can be used to change the world and change your life, right?
Yes.
Has money changed your life?
No.
No?
Okay. Well, technically, yes. Yes, it has.
How has money changed your life?
Well, it got us a house, our own house that we didn't have before after renting for so long.
Okay.
And because of my job, I now have an iPad, which I've never owned before, and a stylus that I can now use for digital art that I can now profit from. So it's an investment.
Okay.
So that's gonna change.
Life changing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think that is it. So I liked this talk. I was pretty good, I think. What you think? It was a pretty
okay.
good conversation. You was okay?
I had to not kick it down, but yeah.
You mean knocking down the camera?
Yes.
Oh, okay. This is something I want to continue doing in terms of series when it comes to just having different topics, and mainly having my kids more involved, because that is what I'm doing as a blogger, as a YouTuber, as a content creator. I want to be able to speak to other moms and young people and just talk about the things that we're dealing with, stuff that we're going through, and possibly things that you're also going through and talking about and dealing with. So hopefully this video helped, and if you like what you saw, you can post a like and subscribe, and we'll be doing more of these kind of videos, and we will be back, and until next time.